kids, welcome back to RotoTalk.
Bam! Hey kids, welcome to the mess. Poor Yoda. I need a new Yoda. You know what I've been thinking about? The next Yoda one I buy, because this is number 2, when I get rid of this mat, I'm going to get another one. And I think I might make an epoxy set on it. You know, like build a frame and make it like a hard thing so you can't get all boogered up. Anyway, doesn't matter. Welcome back. Roto Rant. Here we go. This is going to be a fun one. We're just bullshitting. That's it. Happy Friday to everybody that's Friday. Here's a funny anecdote. Yesterday, right? Let's see, yesterday was Thursday, Wednesday. Wednesday I drove to Tennessee, to Nashville, Tennessee, did a work gig, and drove home. So I was gone all fucking day. Got in the car at 7, got home at 11 o'clock at night. So, all right, fine. So I got a bunch of mail, stuff I ordered. And then the next day, yesterday, I opened everything up, and I got my new smoking hot engine for my Rockstar, the big boat, the big, huge fucking boat that nobody has seen run yet. Because the original engine, it runs, but you cannot, no matter what you fucking do, you cannot get that thing to keep going. And I tried, and it's a carburetor issue, so I need to replace the carb. So basically, I found a hell of a deal on a 30cc short stroke, high performance engine with a velocity stack on the carb. I am so pumped. It's really cool. It's like anodized some color, like blue or something. And I could not wait, right? So yesterday I tore the Rockstar apart, threw the engine, the original engine, which has been rebuilt by somebody that I know. And he did a great job on the engine, but the carburetor is all fucked up. So I threw that in a box. We'll save it for this winter. I'm going to build another quarter scale boat, or 5th scale, whatever the fuck it is, this winter maybe, and I'm going to fix that engine up and slap it in the boat. So, but anyway, I put this short stroke in the Rockstar and fired it up third pull. I mean, that thing is so fucking sweet. I'm going to put a video on tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it in the water tomorrow. I want to try and get it in water before the snow flies, but I'm at least going to fire it up in the yard and show you guys. It's just smoking. It's not even broken yet, obviously. Funny thing, though. I'm building this fucking boat, right? I got everything out in the driveway. Now, you guys might have noticed in my car videos and things like that, I have this big gray storage box in my driveway. You know, that's like we're outside the garage door and my white car pulls up to it. I use that for a big workbench for when I have shit that won't fit on Yoda here, like the big, huge Rockstar, the big, huge RC cars and big boats and things like that. And so here I am. I got this fucking boat. And the Rockstar's huge, man. I mean, that thing's fucking 52 inches long. And I got all these tools everywhere. And, you know, it's literally this far away from the garage door. And so I got all these tools, all this shit out there. And my wife, my smoking hot wife, comes out in the garage, you know, and I'm working on it. I'm all happy. I'm like, look at my engine. This is so cool, you know. And she goes, hey, I got to go pick up our oldest, our 5-year-old from kindergarten. And my youngest was, you know, staying in the house. And if I'm home, I watch her while she goes and gets her. Okay, fine. You know, so I come in the house. The story does have a fucking point. And she's getting ready to leave. And she says, I tell her, I said, just leave the garage door open. Because she's one of those paranoid types where, you know, as soon as the sun sets, she shuts the doors and she shuts the blinds. Drives me fucking nuts. But anyway, I said, just leave the door open. I'm here, whatever else. And because I had all that shit just outside the garage door, right? So what'd she do? My smoking hot, gorgeous wife shuts the fucking garage door on my car radio and broke it in half. Literally, I go out after she comes home, and it's shoved underneath my Indian motorcycle, right? And it's in 2 pieces. The battery box part here is completely sheared off. Completely, like you can take it off. And I'm like, oh my gosh, so we got into a little thing about that. I wasn't really pissed. I'm like, remember when I said, don't shut the door? Yeah, but you shouldn't leave your shit in the way. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, really? I'm not mad, babe. You know, it's $50 fucking radio, whatever, and I can fix it. You should leave your shit. I know, but. I hate that term. It's like, it's their way of kind of admitting they were wrong, but getting out of it at the same time. I know, but. I'm going to get a fucking t-shirt that says that. I know, but. But anyway, so there's that. That's just funny. I mean, the thing, it still works good. No big deal. No big deal. So, a very good friend of mine, Graham, in the UK. I've known him for quite a while now. I'm going to say going on 2 years, 2.5 years, something like that. His son is actually working in, I think they're from Liverpool, if I remember right. But his son actually moved to the States, to Detroit. And at some point, I'm going to, because I go to Detroit like every week, I'm going to hook up and take that cat out for dinner. And I think Graham is going to come out and visit him. But anyway, here's the point. Here's a link to his video right here that I want you to watch, if you would, after this. Or shut me off and go fucking watch it, whatever. But he's trying to get his channel off the ground. And this is not really a plug for you to, go, whatever. He's a really cool guy. And he's in Liverpool. And he does a bunch of quad shit. He's always fucking stuff up. It's a great channel. Subscribe to him. He's a cool guy, very good-hearted, and we treat each other like shit, man. I mean, we cuss at each other, we call each other names, we do all this cool stuff. And, but anyway, he did a video, and I'm driving today. I was on a 4-hour drive today, and he sends me a link, goes, hey, he's rambling in that fucking accent of his on text, and I'm like, whatever, I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about, dude. And then I'm like, send me a link. So he sends me a link to his video. And all of my friends that have YouTube channels, I apologize, because I am stupid fucking bad about checking my subscriptions uploads. So if you're a friend of mine, send me a fucking message and tell me you put up, whether it's text or on Hangouts or even on my YouTube channel, say, dude, check out my video, put a link there. Don't be shy, because I miss half of my friends' stuff just because I don't have time. And I love to watch the stuff if I know it's there, but I just don't pay attention to a lot of stuff. But anyway, getting back to the point. Boy, I'm fucking rambling. He did a really cool video that I really liked, and I want you to watch it. Go to that link. I'll put a link in the description below too, to this video, because it's a really good video. And I did a video a while back, a long time ago, last summer before, fuck, I don't even remember, but I was flying in a graveyard, and I'm just kind of narrating the whole thing. And I really liked that video. It was kind of cool. You're talking about some stuff that was neat. Well, he did the same thing, but what he's doing is he's talking about how FPV has changed his life, or I can't remember if it was Stu from UAV Futures, who I don't watch, but I used to, and Stu's a cool guy, I guess, but I don't know who brought it up or how it came up, but Graham, my buddy, Spooner, which is his YouTube name, said, and he just goes through this big description of how FPV has changed his life. And we're not talking about like heroism shit, like, oh, I was about ready to kill myself and I discovered fucking FPV and now everything's awesome. No, not that type of thing. But what the hobby has brought to you as far as attitude and this, that, and whatever. And I think it was a great fucking topic. Now, here's what I'm going to do in this rant. We're going to talk about a couple other little things too afterwards, but I'm going to talk about that exact same thing. Now, he put it, what am I stepping on? This garage needs fucking clean, man. I'm not going to put it nearly as heartfelt probably as he did, because he's a little bit more sensitive of a twunt than I am. But I want to talk about what RC, and I'm gonna globalize it. I'm gonna bring it to RC, not just necessarily FPV. But he's talking about how it's such a freeing experience. First time you ever put on goggles, and it was just phenomenal. And you meet people and you have fun, and all valid points. And I agree. So what has it done for me? And I'm thinking I'm going to give you a little telecast of my history with it. I was in RC, as you guys know, as a kid, and a brief stint as a young adult. Not very long, though, maybe a summer. I kind of got back into it. I built a boat or two. I did get a gas car. This is back when I was 23, I want to say. My buddy and I, that were a guitar buddy of mine, all we ever did was play guitar and work. So it's like, oh, let's get back into RC for a little bit. So we built some toys. But mostly as a kid, 8th grade, 7th grade, freshman year type of thing. And that's where my hydro experience came from, my car experience came from, all the nitro engine bullshit came from. I did not fly. They didn't have quads back then, because again, you're looking at 1987, things like that. And I loved fucking planes, but I knew it was above my skill level, and it was. And fuck, it still is. Even though I have a garage full of planes, but they're all drones. They'll have GPSs and flight controllers in them. But, so yeah, I was absolutely fucking in love with cars first. And that was because I was a boy, and I was a kid, and I just thought it was the coolest thing in the world, but I loved boats far more. Once I got into boats, that was it for me. And if I lived in near water again, I mean real water, like the lake where I was grown, or grew up on, you probably wouldn't see anything in this garage except boats. That's how much into boats I always was. And so anyway, that's a little bit of the history. Then skip ahead to 5 years ago. I'm 44 as of last week. And 4 or 5 years ago, I was on a business trip and I bought a little tiny quad. You know, one of those tiny little brush things you buy at a hobby shop for $30. And I was on a business trip and I thought, I always wanted to see how these things worked, right? And that $30 quad cost me like $500,000 in the end. But yeah, it was very fun. And I started building drones, GPS drones, not quads, drones, right? With APM flight controllers and Pixhawk and things like that. And then I got into the quads. And actually, I built and flew quads line of sight for a year or a year and a half before I ever even got goggles. And a lot of people always made comments, you know, how do you fly out line of sight? Not that I'm that great, I'm really not, but I can fly line of sight pretty far away and still bring a quad back in pretty good. And I guess that's why, you know, just happenstance. But anyway, and then one thing led to another, and I started doing FPV and quad crap, and I had a couple friends of mine that said, hey, you should do some YouTube stuff and show us how to do this, that, and whatever. All right, fine. And YouTube was always meant to be a channel for friends. That is it. 3 or 4 or 5 people, and you know, here we are with 3,030 or whatever the fuck it's up to now. And what's really funny about YouTube, I know I'm rambling, but what's really funny is like when I had 700 subs, it said I was making $50 a year. Annual income, which I don't even collect. I don't care. And now that I've got 3,000 something, it says I'm making $15 a year. I don't know how that works, but I don't care. So getting back to the point, how it's impacted me, and I'm going to tell you a couple things. FPV, I don't think, whether it's on a wing, whether it's on a quad, not a car, not a boat. Car and boat FPV is a totally different thing. It's actually, I think, in some cases harder. Believe it or not, yeah. FPV on not on a boat, but on a fucking car is difficult because it's always bouncing around. You got obstacles everywhere, and you know it's tricky. Boat, not so bad as long as you don't hit shore. You're, you know. But there is no other experience like FPV quad in a plane. I'm sorry, FPV in a plane or a quad or anything that flies. You know, put on a fucking helicopter, whatever. But especially a quad because you're always flipping, and you know, yes, you can flip airplanes and do loop-de-loops, and I do it with my wings all the time. But it's not the same because when you flip a quad, man, you know, you're doing fucking 100 miles an hour, wham, you know, and it is probably the closest thing to what most of us would experience as truly flying. Truly flying a plane, truly flying, you know, really being, like my buddy Spooner said, like being free as a bird and that type of thing. It's a totally different devil and the neatest experience in the fucking world. If you're just, you know, a car person or a boat person and you're watching this channel for the first time, you will see, go looking through the videos, it's almost 100% quads and planes and things like that. Find a friend that has goggles and try the FPV thing in the air. It is a totally just manic, crazy thing. And everybody on my channel knows this already, but the point is, what has it done for me? I think if I had to pick the biggest thing, I've had a very stellar life and career in technology, right? I've been on a computer since the day I was born, pretty much, which saying back then is saying something. My dad was a mainframe engineer, so I was always surrounded by computers and motorcycles and engines, and you know, so all this stuff just kind of was a good fit for me because I already knew, you know, I'm a robotics engineer, so I already had the technical aspect of it. I had the motor aspect of things, and you know, it was just, I'm not going to say it changed my life because it really fucking didn't. As far as, you know, flying and like, oh my God, yes, it was cool. Yes, it was fun. What changed the biggest benefit to me, I'm trying to figure out a way to put this into words. I'm too sober. I haven't drank enough. The biggest change for me is the people I've met. Hands down, without fucking fail. My Patriot Blades guys, you know, that we're still like this little thing that we talk all the time, and we're all over the country, all over the world. We don't get together and fly. It's just this talking club of quads, and mostly just quads. I think I'm one of the few people in that little area that does land, sea, and air. But my buddies, that I talk to on Google Hangouts, my buddies that I talk to on text, Wes and Space and Spooner and just all you guys, Trevor, you guys all know who you are. Love y'all dearly. And that, I think, and Drew, he's a recent acquisition friend of mine. There's just this camaraderie of this common interest where nobody fights about shit really, and everything's cool no matter what it is. Like, somebody can show me this poor boy fucking quad they've got, and I'm like, oh, that's badass. It's badass because it's a fucking quad, and the fucking thing flies. That's what makes it badass, Yeah, it might be with $10 Racer Star motors, and it might be with a fucking, I don't know, Omnibus F3 flight controller, a CC3D, whatever, but it's got 4 blades and flies. It's fucking cool, right? But it's the people that I'm not even going to say it's a learning experience because, yeah, learning has been fun and I love building. I love everything about the hobby when it comes to building, especially because I am at that time of my life where when you've got 2 kids, 3 kids if you count my biggin, but 2 kids at home, your wife, your career, all these things that you do, it is difficult to find. I mean, you guys see my car crap. Half the time I'm driving around the fucking yard of the neighborhood. You don't see me fly a lot because honestly, the only time I've got to really get out and fly is when I'm out on the road driving. But if it's a super long trip, I don't want to get home that much later, so I even negate it then. Boats, same principle. I don't live around a ton of water, so there's the river up the road and whatever else. But I want to spend time with my family and things like that. So building for me is the big thing, and it's a good release. It's a good stress reliever. I was talking to my friend today, and it's like, I went from my buddy Drew, I think it was. I went from a life, I got divorced in 1999, and I stayed single till 5 years ago. And I went from a life of traveling internationally for work. So I was in other countries, other states all the time. And I played in bands, and I did recording studio stuff, and I taught guitar, and I built motorcycles. That was my life. That's all I did, and I was single. And I dated, and that was just me. And if this was back then, I'd be flying my ass off. I'd be driving my ass off. I'd be racing boats. I'd be doing all that stuff. But there's that. It's hard to be on a motorcycle now. It's hard to do all these other things. So this is my release. This is my man cave thing. And helping my friends out is fun. Building quads for other people is fun. And helping them, do stuff is fun. And just the people you meet, I think, is really the biggest thing. All the guys I mentioned, all the guys I haven't mentioned, the people on the channel. I think I've got the best fucking subscribers on earth because all of them can take a punch. We can call each other names on YouTube. And hey, brother, people have said I'm fucked up about things, but in the next breath, like, oh, but I love your videos. I'm like, yeah, me too, man. It's good. Hey, I like criticism. I like a good punch. It's good. That's what it's about. It's about having friends. If you don't want to have friends, fly your shit by yourself. Don't get on YouTube, whatever else. So I've met some great people, and I think that's really the best part of it for me. Then, that's the FPV quad bit, because that was the door, that was the avenue that pulled me in to all these great guys that I know now. And then I had this itch. My buddy Motor Mike in California, we wheeled and dealed on a quad, and he's like, hey, I've got a boat, and I'm like, oh, I love boats. And I just always kept putting it off, even though I was in quads, because I don't live around a massive amount of water anymore. And so we wheeled and dealed, and he shot me the boat. And that has been awesome for me, because you guys saw the Miss Roto Geek, you saw the UL19, you've seen the Rockstar. Miss Roto Geek will not hit the water until next summer. I did fire her up in the yard the other day. The video did not make it onto YouTube, but it's nothing exciting to see, obviously. But the Miss Roto Geek is a beautiful, beautiful boat. The project turned out absolutely awesome. As a matter of fact, I'm building another one. It's smaller, though. The UL19, the last video y'all saw, was back home on my lake, and I crashed it into my neighbor's ski boat and completely destroyed the front tip of the one sponson on the hull. I completely fixed it with fiberglass to the point where it looked perfect. The only thing that I did then was I painted it, I think, red to make it look like a war wound, so I did not try to hide it, so there's this big bloody thing, coming off, which is great. The boat itself is great. It's fine. And then the Rockstar's got the new engine, building another boat. My brother, Lincoln David, is painting the hydroplane for me, and I told him, I said, the whole thing is up to you. The world is watching. I don't want to know what color you're doing. I don't want any input. And I'm calling the boat, its name is going to be the Lincoln, or Lincoln, because I think it's a cool boat name. Yeah. But he's a very, very dear friend of mine, smoking talented guy. He did the Patriot bird, you know, American flag crap for me and all that other stuff. So he is painting my hydroplane boat, my Nitro Hydro. And when that gets back, I'm going to do a build video. It's not really a build video. It's a putting the engine back in and setting it up video. And then I'm building another one. So the boat thing, what that did is it brought me back to my youth a little bit, really. I mean, quads didn't, because I never did quads, but the whole nitro thing, it got me back into nitro, which I love nitro engines. I know a lot of people think they're a pain in the ass, but as you can see, this is not counting the ones that I have in vehicles, right? And we still got quads and, you know, all that stuff. But, sorry, hit the wrong button. But I love the nitros, love rebuilding them, love the smell. You know, it's just so much fun. And the boat thing, you know, just sitting down and working on a fucking boat, or even driving a boat, you know, whatever the case may be, just brings back all the fun stuff that I used to do on the lake. And then my dickhead friend Wes, you know who you are, FPV fanatic, he got me back into cars. And I said, and I got a lot of people who can give me shit over this, I said, well, I'll get a car, but I'm not going to be a car guy, you know, so now I have 8 fucking cars. And I love the car thing. The nice thing about the car thing is, when I'm out driving around, as you guys saw with the Big Muff video, I can just pull over pretty much anywhere and drive. Flying is a little bit more sketchy, you know. And it's fun. I can just go outside the garage, drive up and down the neighborhood. The neighbors all think it's neat. And it's fun to work on them. And I really, really, really like restoring the cars, buying the junk ones and building them back up to make them something cool. I think that's fun. I've only bought one, besides the big Rovens, I've only bought one nitro car that's new. It's because my buddy Drew and I both decided, hey, let's buy a brand new one. Okay, fine. So we both bought the same truck, and it's the Red Cat Earthquake 3.5 or whatever the fuck it is. But anyway, it's a great car, and it's stupid fast. It's actually too fast for a monster truck, but I really enjoy just finding some wreck. Because I used to restore motorcycles, and I think that's where, and restored guitars for very, very, very many years. And I think that's where that comes from. I like taking something that's really just a fucking lost cause, like my buddy Demi, and then making it something just stellar. And all of my cars have turned out absolutely awesome. You guys have seen a couple of them, but I think there's 8. But anyway, it's been really, really, really fun. So I thank my buddy Wes for getting me back into cars. And that's the nostalgia for me. The boat thing, I would give up quads tomorrow for the boat thing. Cars, not so much. I still like cars. I love cars. I think it's going to be fun in the winter. But boats are my true love. Quads are just, I love quads too. I love it all. Land, sea, and air. It's just fucking awesome. So yeah, I think that's the biggest thing for me. It's not the YouTube channel. I could shut down the channel tomorrow and life goes on exactly the same. I don't make any money. I turn down Banggood and GearBest and all these guys at least once a week for doing reviews because I refuse to be that guy. I love the people I've met on the YouTube channel, and that's how I met the friends I talked to on text and everything else. My brother Patrick LeMay down in Kentucky, that we're doing the big drone wings and all this other stuff, and it's just stellar. You know, some of these people have turned out to be my best friends. You know, absolutely great. Blackhawk, that's how Blackhawk and I became friends. You know, he lives 20 miles away. We met through that because he saw all the shit hanging in my garage one day and just started small talking about it. And I'm like, who is this fucking guy? You know, and we just became really fast friends. That to me is the game changer, the life changer, the neatest part about the RC hobby, because it's the same with all of them. Cars, boats. I've got some boat clicky friends, you know, from, maybe a little bit from the channel, but I'm not known for boats. But Instagram, I've met some guys, and the car guys, I don't think I've talked to any arbitrary car guys, but just love it, absolutely love it. So the people that I have met are so awesome. I've met very, very few dickheads in doing this, and maybe 5 out of 7,000 people I've talked to. So it's been pretty fucking cool. So that's what it has been for me. So what I want you guys to do is drop me a quick line and say what it's been for you. Is it just an escape from the work and the bullshit and the 4 wives and 1 kid? What is it? You know, what draws you to it? Quads, and I'm talking quads, so don't be boats, but it can be anything. You're into RC fucking tanks, fucking awesome, you know, whatever. With me, it's now become a very well-rounded habit, but What's it do for you? Because I really want to know. I want to know what the draw is. Because it's a very expensive hobby. Even if you do it cheap, it's an expensive hobby. You build cheap fucking $200 birds, which I usually don't. That's an expensive hobby. Because 9 times out of 10, you're crashing. You're breaking shit. Same thing goes for cars. Cars, you're always breaking something. Boats, usually a little bit better unless you're me and you're hitting ski boats. But yeah. Let me know. I want to know what you guys think. And I really hope that you're into more than just quads, because if Congress has their way, y'all are going to be fucked. And a buddy of mine, and I'm calling him a buddy, we've only talked twice, but he's on YouTube, my channel, and he's left a couple messages. And he's maybe the only person that cusses more than me that I've met. And he said, basically, they can try to take my fucking guns, they can try to take my fucking quads, and bam, all the way to the bank, you know. And I told him, I said, you're my kind of dude. Boom, you know, cool. Nobody signed the petitions. Nobody, and all these people, this is the part that blows my mind. All these fucking guys that are professionals on YouTube that are making money off of it, that their livelihood largely depends on the hobby, did not push for any of the lobbying. Here I am, just some fucking scrote in Ohio saying, hey, you guys got to do this fucking, sign this shit, sign it. Will it work? I don't know, but we definitely know it won't work if we don't sign it, right? And 6,000 people signed it, and they needed 100,000. Okay, fine. But I don't think, and none of you guys have said to me, oh yeah, so-and-so famous guy was pushing this, or so-and-so famous guy was pushing this. Why not? I don't get it. You know, it's like these guys' livelihood depends on it. I know all they want to do is get their names on products and make fucking money. That's Bardwell. And that's most of the fucking guys now. That's why I don't watch him anymore. I watched Bardwell way back in the beginning. He had some good stuff. I always thought he was a douche, but he did have some good info. And then he just got commercial about it. Same thing, in my opinion, UAV Futures. I think Stu's a good guy. A little too G-rated for me. But again, it's like he does all the pre-built stuff. And more power to him. There's a market for that. I don't like pre-built anything, usually. So, you know, whatever, blows your skirt up. But none of these fucking guys pushed it. I think, you know, Bruce in New Zealand is the only one that really made a big stink about it. And I did too. And I'm sure there was others. There's other guys like Drone 51 or whatever that guy is. He did a bunch of stuff on it. And he's probably far more influential than me. But whatever. I'm ranting. I'm rambling. So hopefully you guys aren't stuck with boats and cars, because quads may be a thing of the past in the next year or two. But whatever, let's pray and hope they're not, but I've got a bad feeling about government and the whole business aspect of it. So, one more thing, and then we'll get off the rant. I'm going to do a couple of videos this weekend. Like I said, I'm going to do a Rockstar engine video. It's probably going to be a couple minutes. I'm just going to go over it, show you guys, show off. It sounds really, really cool. Puff smoke out. It's really awesome. I'm going to really, really try to get it in the water and do a break-in video. Just, I won't be able to go full speed, but you can see it at least moving, because I've had this boat for like, what, half a summer and still hasn't done a video. But I want to show you what, if you're really into building, and when I mean building, I don't mean building a fucking quad. That's 40 minutes. That's not a big deal. I'm talking stick-built model building, like you're building a model car when you're a kid, or you're building a model airplane when you're a kid. If you're into that, get into model building, be it airplanes, be it boats, whatever else. So, you guys have seen the Miss Roto Geek, right? The big sponson, you know, outrigger. I'm going to show you what its little sister looks like. Here's what the cowling looks like that's on the top. It is a just blown piece of fiberglass, molded piece of fiberglass, and you have to cut the whole thing out. They don't do you any favors with that. Here's what goes in the sponsons, which are the outriggers pontoons in the front. Basically foam. This type of shit you put on the side of a house, right? You guys have seen this before. They hot wire cut it, or however they do, maybe a bandsaw, I'm not sure, but it's the same format as the sponsons, and it's taped together because that's how nice they are, zip kits. This is your entire boat. Yeah, here, and then here. So you're looking at, what is that, 22 inches, 21 inches. I think this is a 21, isn't it? This is what it looks like when it's done. JAE 12 G4. Miss Roto Geek's the 24 JAE24. G whatever. And then they give you a bunch of wooden dowels and your turn fin, which on this one they pre-sharpened. I wish they would have done it on the other one. But anyway, all laser cut wood wrapped in your mom's saran wrap with carbon fiber. These are fiberglass, I think. It might be carbon fiber. Rods for the sponsons, 12G4, all laser cut. When your big boat comes in a 1-inch pack, you know it's a project, right? And then I got the running hardware kit as well. This has got the gas tank, all the goodies that you need, barring the engine and radio. So, but realistically, the boat itself was 60 bucks. The outrigger kit's 130 bucks maybe. So you're all in at 150 bucks, something like that. But then you have to buy the engine and whatever else. But I have a spare nitro engine, marine engine that I'm going to use in her. That's why I'm building another one. But the neat thing about this boat is I am going to make it a complete build video. I'm going to have to figure out how to do that because it's going to take a lot of fucking time. These things don't just go together in 3 days. They go together in a month, you know. So we're going to do that. And then I'm going to start, hopefully, the big GPS huge operation, Project Condor, or whatever the hell I called it. I'm going to start those this weekend, too, because next week I'm on vacation with the family. So anyway, nice long ramble. Again, let me know what the hobby's done for you and what it means to you. All of us, I mean, I've got so many friends I got friends that are fucking gangsters that love to fly. And they have friends that they would have never had unless it was for flying. And people like me and people like, whatever you are, it's really interesting, the psychology, the social dynamic behind the hobby. It just brings people together from walks of life that would never in a million fucking years be together. It's fucking far out. So, ooh, did I say far out? Fuck, I'm getting old. But anyway, let me know. I talked to a lot of you guys on the YouTube channel, and those of you, I do miss some of them. I'm sorry, it's just been really busy. This winter, give me a lot more videos and a lot more talking. And building. So anyway, let me know what it means to you. Happy Friday night. Keep the shiny side up. Have a drink, which I haven't even done yet. Hardly. And God bless. Take care, guys. Bye.